Good reminder.
I'm not sure if Buddy's on yet, I'm just gonna dial
You could
in.
just check. No, he is not on. This is unmuted though, so.
He's driving back.
All right, it is 3:30. We'll go ahead and get started with the Board of Trustees meeting for April 23rd. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance and then we'll jump into roll call. I pledge
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright.
Roll call, please.
Certainly. Cindy Giordano. Here. Penny Hankey.
Here.
Matthew Seeds.
Here.
Buddy Harden. David Zucker.
Here.
Rich Gardner. Justin Collier.
Here.
Dan Monternack.
Here.
Keith Hazelwood.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
All right, we'll start the work session first with fiscal year 27 budget, preliminary technology budget presentation. Glad you're with us today, Zach.
Oh, I'm glad to be missed. Or glad that I'm here. Yeah, just a moment here.
Okay.
Share this. Oh yeah, it's in when we get started. All right, is that okay for everybody?
Sure.
Actually. Okay, here we go. So the FY 27 budget, preliminary technology budget. So start off with the IT department mission. The IT department advances the mission of the St. Charles City County Library by strategically managing the technology infrastructure, safeguarding information, and delivering innovative solutions that improve access, efficiency, and patron experience. So that's what our mission is, and our primary goal is impactful technology that is fast, easy, and pleasant for staff and patrons. So that's where we're coming from when we try to provide the services that we provide. There we go. So before I dive, hey Rich, welcome. Before I dive right into it, just do a little update from last year, since this is a big initiative that we took over and that you all helped us with. So the managed print services, we are almost in a full year of it. We deployed in August of 25. So the library is on track to spend $67,000 in printing this year. This is an approximate savings of $100,000 from last year, our print managed services cost. So that's a really great win for the library district. I think it shows really well. This is according to our cost benefit analysis that we presented and delivered last year. These savings primarily result from the reduction in printers and copiers, so our fleet reduction, lowering consumable usage, so parts, toner, and paper, and decreasing energy costs and maintenance and downtime. So we have enterprise machines that are more energy efficient, and you know, the maintenance obviously on new machines is pretty low, and the downtime is very low. So I just want to thank you all from the board for helping us with this and just give you an update of where we are. Getting into the meat of the presentation here, expenditure highlights. We are experiencing a slight 1.6 increase in the technology and telecom budget from FY 27 to FY 26 to 27. This is primarily due to subscription increases. But we are working on that, or we have been working this year and continue to work on managing those costs across vendors by negotiating multi-year contracts with products that we want to continue to use. So what our strategy has become, we're working towards, is to identify products that we like, that the library staff and our patrons like, and then trying to lock in pricing. Subscription costs are going up every year, and it's interesting when I started in the IT department, companies wanted us to lock in for multi-years. Now companies want us to go year to year or even month to month. So it's interesting the way it's flipped. So that's where we're at. And then finally, I just wanted to highlight a significant technology change that the library is going through and the IT department is working on. So we're planning for FY27 is unified card access for all staff. This encompasses door access, PC access, and print retrievals. So the highlight or what's important about this is this will allow staff to easily bring the tools that they need to their workstations, improving both security and overall user experience. So what we're talking about is a badge system for all of our staff. So if you think about when you go to the doctor, your nurse comes into once you finally get into the meeting room, your nurse comes in and they badge into the PC and their programs come up. That's what we're looking for. They lock the computer, walk away, the doctor comes in, they badge in. So this will help our staff move around, be more flexible. It goes within the MPS, we did universal printing. So staff can claim prints at any printer on our network. So now staff can move around, they can claim their prints. Well, we're working towards that with this badge access. Trying to make it more flexible, their desktop will follow them. And we're just trying to make it as easy as possible for our staff to get to the tools they need. We're also currently right now, we're implementing a password manager to help them get their logins quicker and more secure. So that is what I have on this. I'm gonna switch over to the spreadsheet unless anybody has any questions. Yeah, I thought you might.
Are you doing any virtual desktops or are you doing all like
Not yet.
roaming
So
profiles?
we are doing file redirect.
Okay.
So we've worked, this is about 3 years in the making with our GPOs and our backend infrastructure. What we will do though, is after we implement this, then we're going to really be able to target hardware and reduce our costs on our hardware.
Sure. Are you looking for like Hello, like for Windows, or how are you looking to log into the PC with the badge?
There are some companies that we've looked at. We are going to ask at the capital projects to seek out hardware companies. So it'll depend on what we get. We've looked at a few, but it's essentially what we're looking at is a software that integrates or lays on top of the Windows environment. So.
I had a question regarding the badge access, including doors to the library.
Mm-hmm.
The question is regarding the security of these badges.
Yes,
If someone would misplace or have a purse stolen or something like that,
yes.
and the badge falls into the wrong hands, what would happen then?
Well, once we get to badge deployment, staff will report, even if they think that they lost a badge, we can freeze it. So then it will eliminate access for somebody. Now
You
we
can freeze just that badge.
correct.
So you don't have to change all the locks or anything like that.
Exactly. Yes, so the badge system is all, we've been deploying it at some locations. It's at Mittendorf. And it is all over internet and it's cloud solution. So yes, we can freeze specific badges. Then if it's lost, we'll deactivate that completely, create a new badge, and then hand deliver it to the staff member. Or somehow we will face to face with the staff member that they get it, so we know that it's getting to the right person.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? All right. Head over here, share this tab. So this is what you have in front of you. And sorry, I can't make this any more readable on this screen. But I'll just kind of highlight, these are this is the technology and telecommunications broken down by account numbers. The big difference you're gonna see right here is the subscriptions. This is, I mentioned this at the beginning. That's where the chunk of ours is changing. Consulting professionals has gone up a little bit as well with our cost per fax. We're seeing an increase in faxing and cost per fax, as well as with our main pipeline connection here with Morenet, and then Yeah, and we're still working on the E-rate, so that's there. The managed services, there's an increase in here, so one increase I want to point out, again, going back to badge access, is if we can continue and hit this 67,000, which we're on pace to do, then we want to add card readers to all the staff machines. So right now, staff have to wake the machine, type in a PIN number, and it's becoming a bit cumbersome, and I am very appreciative for the staff for working through that so we can get to this card access. So staff can just tap the card and get and claim their prints right at that time.
Are you requiring secure print as default?
I'm sorry?
Are you doing secure print as default?
Yes,
Oh.
we are, yes. Yeah, all of our printers are out in public spaces now. Well, I shouldn't say public, but in staff and open areas, so if managers or people are printing off something sensitive, we don't want to run the risk of someone forgetting to put in secure print
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about here at this office?
here as well. Yes.
Zach, Buddy's ready.
Oh, is Buddy here?
Yeah.
He should be able to see this.
He said he needed to be let in or something.
Oh, I'm sorry, give me just a moment.
Sorry.
I'll slide over here. Let me see. To admit.
He's just saying that so he doesn't seem like he's late.
I'm not seeing anything that's, okay. Here.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, that is,
I heard that.
yeah, I heard that. Stay in the call, I'm still here. I guess because he's not here. Okay. All right, well, Robin, just feel free to interrupt if anybody has anything. From here on, it's pretty straightforward, telecom, data and phones, cabling, a slight reduction, and a slight reduction in our equipment budget. I did want to highlight as well in our equipment budget, just as a reminder, and as new information is, in FY26, we moved a lot of our AV projects and our PC and like our life cycle replacement to capital projects. So if you were to look at 25, it's a considerable decrease, but we've decreased even since FY26 to 27, so.
Have you shifted your replacement schedule at all? Like expanded the years on it? you still in-
We're 5 to 7 years right now,
Yeah, okay.
depending on the machine and the work. And then we second life all of our machines, we either soup them up and put them out for public use, or we use them for self-check or other.
Are you doing e-faxing?
We are, yes. So we use TBS for public faxing.
Okay.
Our phone system is for internal faxing.
Right.
It comes with your account. And then we use actually eGold Fax out at Augusta. We just deployed that on our the public copier out there, and it seemed to get pretty good reviews. It's a space issue out there. TBS is really nice, but it's like such big pieces. So, yeah. Yeah, so, and then you can see the totals there. Are there any questions, anything else I could answer for any of you?
Just as an aside, I mean, being in IT, like having just a 1.6% increase over a year is insanely low.
Thank you.
I mean, we're getting hammered by every vendor on massive increases, and thankfully we have contracts in place for us that hold those percentages down. But like you said, Zach, I mean, everybody's trying to get their hands on stuff.
Mhm.
The environment that we're in worldwide,
Mhm.
all the uncertainty going on, everybody's raising prices in a drastic way. So 1.6% is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It was very difficult here. So, okay. Yes.
Tell me what additional cameras are under equipment, the last
Oh.
line.
Yeah, so you'll have to forgive me. I don't remember the year that we redid our entire camera system. I believe it was around 2020 to 2021. So we redid all the cameras for the whole district.
Indoor and outdoor?
Yes, and we moved to a whole new system, and then we've had this is our third round of camera updates, third round. So we went from very few cameras on different DVR or like local systems to more cameras on a unified system. And then we found blind spots that we didn't have, so we added to those. So that's what those are. Yep. Anything? All right, well, thank you so much for your time. I will bring Buddy back and then.
That was better than what John would have done, so I appreciate you delaying. So-
Well, I appreciate y'all. I would have much rather been here than what I was doing
Right?
last month.
Understood. Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
Next item is the April 7th election results discussion. As you all may remember, we wanted to kind of have a postmortem on the elections because there was quite a number of sales tax questions on the ballot. I thought there might be more discussion today, but based on the results, it's pretty overwhelming in one way, in a certain direction. So there might have been one that passed, and I want to say it was Augusta.
Augusta
Okay.
and Orchard
Orchard
Farm.
Farm, okay. So there were two. I don't live in either one of those, so but they were relatively small number of votes in those areas as well. And
At least Arch Farm was they went from volunteer to now they have funding, so that was part of their campaign, so they,
so they were a volunteer district, now they're
yeah,
actual.
I don't know about Augusta,
Okay.
Arch Farm was.
Gotcha, okay. Good to know. So yeah, we wanted to sit and discuss, what we're working on, and I kind of want to build in the next item into this discussion as well, because, there's a thought process of, well, if the library board decides to go out on the ballot for something, some additional funding, what does that mechanism look like? Well, right now, it's pretty simple. There's only one mechanism that we have as a district, although John has been really working hard to make that multi-pronged. But I guess I'll first start just kind of open it up to everybody, just talk about the April 7th election, what we thought. Anything anybody wants to add about that first? Go ahead.
Well, I just scanned the Mid-Rivers paper this morning. I've been away, and you can't get internet in the Atlantic Ocean. So I'm trying to catch up. So my impression is that the school districts, the ambulance district, the fire districts organized the opposition to the elimination of, or the reduction of property tax.
Yeah.
Because that's their lifeblood. The failure of the sales taxes, I think the opposition to that was organic. I don't think there was any significant organized campaign against sales tax.
Oh, right.
People are not buying it. Now, in addition to that, I haven't seen what the legislature has done on Governor Kehoe's income tax revolution. But I gather that part of the idea there is a jacking up sales taxes or adding sales taxes to services that right now aren't taxed at all, which makes the idea of a sales tax by any entity a pretty dicey proposition. I wouldn't want to be going to the public asking for a tax hike of any kind in this calendar year.
Do you think that the April election is an appropriate place to put on a sales tax increase of the 3 elections this year?
There's a very cynical argument that you can push a lot of sketchy ideas past the voters in April because the turnout's under 20%.
Right.
And
Didn't work
And I-
this time.
and I know that there is considerable energy in the legislature to move the April elections to November.
Right.
And I don't know if that's gonna work, but it'll be an interesting change of environment.
Yeah.
If candidates and propositions have to face the broader electorate.
Any other comments, thoughts about this April election? I will say it turned out not how I anticipated, so I anticipated RT to pass and the sales tax to pass as well, because there was no opposition, or like coordinated opposition to the sales taxes. But it was, sometimes you're always surprised, right? So, yeah, but I guess we'll move on to the Senate bill item.
Going back to that,
Oh, go ahead.
I think on the sales tax, Lori Beth, remind me, did the chambers, do they organize or do they just decide not to support any of the sales tax issues?
They organized through social media posts, announcing their opposition to RT.
How about for the fire district and EMS? I know the chamber meetings, they were asked to pass a resolution.
The two that I went to said they chose not to take a side.
They decided not to take a side, okay. I couldn't remember if they actually, maybe they didn't pass a resolution in support of fire or EMS. I just didn't know if they actually made hey, we don't support this, because there's a lot of chatter in the chambers about increasing the sales tax. How that would have a negative impact on St. Charles County if the sales tax rate increased, where not so much in St. Louis County or other parts of the region. Therefore, it could either result in people shopping elsewhere or moving more people online. So sales tax did have those two perks, at least in the chamber side.
Yeah, it was, if everything passed, and like what you were mentioning about the income tax, the sales tax in St. Charles County could have been pretty large. And that would certainly, people that are on the edge, St. Charles City, they're along 364. You just jump across into St. Louis County and you have 4, 5%, 3%, whatever it is, less sales tax. So, if the state does something income tax, that will at least be statewide. Then that won't be pitting one county against the other scenario. So, yeah, that's there you go.
So the idea of us seeking additional revenues, whether it be a sales tax or property tax, we know we need to do that at some point. We have about 13% of our branch square footage is west of Highway K. The remainder of it is all east of K. So when we look at services that we offer the community west of K, we're lacking square footage of buildings and the ability to be able to offer programming and all other type of services. So eventually we need to build west. We all get that. That's going to require us to go to the voters. The property tax increase and make it really doable. We've talked about potentially 10 cents additional. That take us from our 16 cents at roughly 16 cents per 100 up to about 26 cents per 100. It generates roughly about $10 million a year in additional revenue. Sales tax, the additional 10 million is about 40. So it's 1/8 of a cent to get to essentially additional 10 million in revenue would be an 8-cent sales tax. So I'm not sure how I read, I guess I'm kind of curious how the board reads the failure of support for fire and EMS, because they were big increases. They were adding 1%. And that's a big difference than asking for 1/8 of a cent, 1/4 of a cent, or 1/2 cent. If they would have asked for something less, would the results been different?
Well, and they were never required to eliminate the property tax, correct?
They were, but they were only required to roll it back 50 cents for every new dollar, which got out there in the public pretty significantly, that is that this was not only a 1-for-1, this was an increase of revenue for them and a significant increase on most of the occasions.
With no, like that's only 50% on new stuff, the regular stays, they never had to reduce that, right? Or they had to reduce it 50 cents on the new dollars.
So yeah, so anything they unsell, say they brought in, they were asking for 1% for the ambulance district. That's estimated to be $80 million. So they would have had to roll back their property tax levy $40 million. They still would have had 100% increase, in revenue potentially off of the sales tax. That's where I think people really, especially the chambers, start doing the math and realizing that this was a huge tax increase they were asking for, not a 1-for-1. And transitioning in Senate Bill 1023, that allows St. Charles County and like 40 other counties to ask for sales tax. Our senators proposed an amendment and put on there where it'd be a 1-for-1 reduction for St. Charles County only, not for the rest of the communities. It did make it through the Senate. It has been first and second read in the House. And yesterday there was a committee on local government and committee meeting, which I went there and spoke on, as well as several others. I believe it'll be exec out of committee on Monday, is my understanding, talking to some of our representatives up there. And probably will make it to the floor and may anticipate that it'll pass. If it stays unamended and passes at the House, then of course it goes to the governor. If it gets amended during the House process, they'll have to go back to the Senate and they'll probably die. I can't imagine the Senate's gonna do anything, that comes back to them. It may, there's only
4 weeks left.
4 weeks.
Yes.
So if it doesn't get out of the House until next week, we're at 3 weeks back in the Senate.
I don't know, I've seen stuff fly pretty quick in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. It may make it.
But I mean, if it's gotta go conference committee like that,
It's not one of the big issues.
Right.
It all depends on what the amendments get added on
right,
it.
100%. Trustee Zucker, go ahead.
So with respect to the fire district and the ambulance district's desire for a sales tax increase or authorization, have they tilled the garden for a year or just a few weeks in advance of the April election?
It was several months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a handful of months. I don't really recall if it was 6 months or not, but for a while, I've been hearing Kyle and Skip on the speaker circuit throughout some community engagements, talking about it. They've had their marketing materials. Even heard Skip comment at one point in time that it was in their case, a no vote for RT, but a yes vote for EMS, and that they felt like that was a little conflicting. And had they known that RT was going to be on the April ballot, that they would have rephrased how they did their marketing materials. And so that tells me that they were probably working on some marketing materials well before it was announced that RT was going on April's ballot.
Okay.
I think I was aware of the coordination of all of the fire districts coming together, I wanna say back maybe like October, September timeframe. Was made aware of like that was what the big push was gonna be. And that immediately, anybody else who was looking to do something was scared away. Like, oh, every single fire district's gonna have something out there. We're just gonna wait and see what happens and then, so.
I don't think they read the room.
No,
I don't know if them going collectively, I get the strategy of going fire and EMS together.
Right.
Because it's all law enforcement, but at that point, you're asking for a 2% increase. And I think that's,
Yep.
I think people saw that and just was like 2% of additional. That's gonna put us at, well above 10%, and that's kind of, they lost support of the municipalities, the chambers got silent, and other people that normally would carry the water for you, just left the table, left the room.
I think also though that there's some numbness to it too as well, right? Every April, it feels like there's an EMS or some kind
Yeah.
of fire item on the ballot.
Yeah.
And when you go that many times to the public on different items, there comes at some point you're going, enough. So that could have.
It's request fatigue.
Yeah. It's like the school district, you almost feel like every time there's gonna be something on the ballot, whether it's debt, consolidation or whatever's going on. So I think that there's a lot of, there's only one way for us to know whether or not something is gonna pass for us, and that's to put it out there and have it voted on. So,
I think another thing that's hurting the cause is, at least among the people that I hobnob with, there's a perception out there that the sales tax increase would fund new programs and new services that we don't already have. Just more candy to play with.
got it,
Not a question of no, we're trying to preserve what we have.
right.
So if it comes up again, a more effective strategy, I think, marketing wise, would be to say, these are the bad things that are gonna happen if we don't get it. We're not asking for new products and new services. We wanna sustain the level of service you get now. And these are the bad things that are gonna happen if we don't do it. I think that would be more effective than just suggesting, oh, there's a whole bunch of new stuff you can get if we have a sales tax increase.
Yeah, I remember the 3 libraries were gonna close.
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit of the sales tax for the library district if in year 3 we have to give back 100%. I don't understand why we would even consider doing anything other than the first 2 years.
I think the thought process may be of what a potential new administration at the county level would do to property tax, or what the state is going to do with property tax in general. And if there's a change to that model,
Maybe.
then there would need to be some kind of resolution there. But at that point, if they're gonna get rid of property tax, there'd have to be some type of making it right. Otherwise, so many organizations that rely solely on property tax would not be viable anymore, so.
But yeah, I agree with you that switching from a property tax to a solely sales tax model doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Sales tax is growing relatively slow, and that's why we're pushing to stay within the bill that would allow us to ask for that increment as a sales tax, so we would diversify our income versus
Substitute it.
yeah, substitute, which is where they want us to go. We asked for, and I think if this 1023 goes through, I think next year we would focus on going back and asking them to add us to 144, which is the use tax piece of the law, and really fight for that piece as well. So once again, we have an option that would be available to us to, ask for our sales as well as use. Use tax is growing at a faster rate that captures more of those online sales than sales. But it gives an it's an option, should something happen. My preference would be, I think at this point, is to ask for a 10 cents increase in property tax. It's just whether the board feels like that's something that we can do. And if not, what type of information would we wanna gather? Should we start trying to send out some educational information to our patrons, to the community as a whole, not just our patrons? And maybe have it come back via a QR code back to a survey so that we can generate some additional data to see what the appetite would be for an increase in order to sustain our service and also to allow us to expand our services to the western part of the county. And we could do a mailing and then collect that data back through Orange Boy, which is a tool that we use for collecting surveys. And that would give us some real data to have.
Good idea, but ought to be preceded by an educational campaign. The 2, 4, and 10-year vision for the library district to set the table before you ask the taxpayers to pass the potatoes.
It's just a second, it's just, our users are the wrong audience.
Yeah.
The users are all gonna be for it. We're gonna get 80% back on their results that go, yay, everybody's for this. That's not our market. We should only be figuring out about our non-users, which is the majority of the county. That's who we have to get to vote for this thing.
Right.
So what I was thinking is that we could get the, which we have, the voter registry for the November election, and we pulled it back as the election authority for the voter log for the last 5 years in November. And we were thinking about targeting that audience, which I think is about, I can't remember the number, was it 40 or 60,000 people? I'm looking at Bree.
Let me hold on.
I can tell you how much we can afford. I did get that number back.
Hold on, let me do a couple things. Okay, so first off, you said 5 years. Do you mean 5 elections or 5 years? Cause there's
We're
only
looking at the November elections.
Yeah, so
yeah,
there's-
it's 5 elections in November.
5.
So a 10-year
So it
window.
must have been the 10-year window. You're right.
Yeah, but 160, almost 200,000 people are gonna vote in November.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, it's not 50,000.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's household. Buddy, households is probably 60,000.
No, it's average like, not even a 2-to-1
Right.
in this county now. It'd still be 140,000 households, 130,000 households. You have to pare it down to figure out who the persuadable people are and what group they are, and use a list that's already been massaged. We don't have the time or the money or the expertise to target that list ourselves. We need to get a list that's very narrow, as narrow as we can get. It's better to hit those people 2 or 3 times than a whole bunch of people once. But it's just expensive.
Countywide is expensive, but
It is expensive.
I mean, we spent $100,000. We can spend $100,000 on a state rep race. There's like 11 of those
right.
in the county. I mean, every one of the county executive candidates is going to spend $1 million.
Yep.
In a primary, not even in November. So, I mean, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
expensive.
Yep.
Well, free media is
Sure.
is an alternative, and figuring out the way to maximize free media as an alternative to direct mailers, which I agree with Buddy, to reach November voters is a very expensive proposition.
Right.
Very expensive.
Well, the whole thing is when would we put it on the ballot? We would be civil to put it on a November ballot. We'd be better to put it in one of the small municipal elections until they get rid of them. Which there's a movement right now to get rid of the April elections. The
Buddy,
first thing is they're gonna move school board elections to November.
Right.
And then eventually, I think they'll try to get rid of November or April elections. So I mean, the smaller the election, the more manageable it is. We can target that group of people who voted every municipal election. That's a tiny group. It's like 10%. Way more manageable.
I don't disagree with you, buddy, but in this climate, in a mid-year, is it more, it has a larger appetite than normal, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, right now, we can't get anything done this year, I don't think, anyway. It's an off year, I mean.
What's your thought process behind that? We don't have enough time?
Yeah.
No, the primary is like, what, 90 days away, I mean, in November, I mean, I don't think you have anywhere near it. I don't, I mean, I would shoot for the next spring election, and that might be 2 years, might be next spring, and it's countywide, but then it's so expensive.
Well, this year is fraught with anti-tax rhetoric.
Yeah.
And
For candidates running for office in
Yes.
November?
yes,
Yeah.
and so you take what we learned April 7th.
Right.
Which is there's no appetite for screwing around with taxes.
Right.
And what you can foresee between now and November, where the rhetoric's going to get ratcheted up to a level that in my personal opinion, disconnects from reality.
Yeah.
And then you try to have a rational discussion with 100,000 voters on what is in their interest in the long term with respect to the vitality of the library district. And you'll look like the New York Mets. 0 for 12.
Right.
This is, Matthew, the only way to get this thing passed this year would be vote for the library tax, we'll stop all the data centers. And that's about the only strategy that I see to get with this year, so. That's.
So Buddy, what are your thoughts about looking at April of 26?
27.
27.
Wait, is it a countywide, or is it just some municipalities? I mean, that's what we need to see is, some municipalities, not every municipality does it, which will drive up our costs if we're paying for elections that aren't already happening.
All right.
So we have to talk to Kurt.
Yeah.
And say, when's the next time where every municipality is gonna be on the ballot, so we get our costs down?
You have that, but you have the community college, don't you? And you have some of those already countywide races happening as well.
Yeah.
So I still agree with you. It's gonna.
Yeah. Because this year, there's no statewide, the drivers for the statewide this year is gonna be, voting on the, getting rid of the income tax.
Right.
You know, the state auditor, that's it. Some congressional races, we don't have a US senator, we don't have anything that's big.
Yeah, but you have the entire county through all the state rep races and.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I guess so maybe if we were gonna do a November election, this would probably be the lowest turnout one we're gonna have.
Right.
So I guess it's possible.
And I knew you'd come around, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting beat up on all these days.
No, I understand. I appreciate your insight, buddy. It's very, very helpful. Very helpful. Thank you.
Even though I'm driving.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not driving the old Teslas.
No hands, no hands.
Yeah. So
Something
Thanks,
to be
buddy.
said about a Tesla
um
driverless.
all right. Any other thoughts?
Well, remember, when we, those who were on the board, when we announced closing 3 boards, we got a lot of press coverage. You know? So you could do it before and after if there's no tax increase. Because looking at the figures, we need some infusion of money.
Right. Right.
So it is dire,
Sure. Sure.
regardless of what we're gonna open out in Wentzville, Lake St. Louis area. The finances of this district right now look bad.
Right.
So,
And in the interest, when we talked about the use of media, the sad reality is that throughout all generations, you're more likely to get media attention for dire warnings than you are for lofty promises.
Sure.
Yeah, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good way of putting it. If it bleeds, it leads.
It's 150. Is that what you're looking for? The cost is.
No, it's, I was seeing if April, because I did ask that question to Kurt, and his suggestion was either from a cost standpoint would be November or April of 26, and then 27 was the April election that he said would be expensive because there must not be as much on that one
Got it.
than what there would be on 26. He
Well,
said,
sure. Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, all the fire districts, everybody had their stuff on 26.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah.
I mean 27, excuse me.
Oh,
The April of 27 And November 26th, he anticipated to be about the same based on the number of things on the ballot.
Oh,
But if we waited until April of 28, he expected that to be more expensive because there's less things, I guess, less municipal items on the 28 election than what there would be in April of 27.
Okay.
Excuse me, I keep on getting my ear mixed up.
well, I think next steps, and the board can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think next steps are, one, figuring out what we would ask for. I think we need to know what amount makes sense so that we know what the ask would be then of the voting public. And then I think knowing that information, I think the board just needs to make a decision on, do we wanna go in November, do we wanna go in April, or do we not wanna go at all?
Don't you think, Matthew, we have to be real specific too? You know, if we
Yes.
don't, you know, we saved the 3 libraries. If we don't get this passed, we're gonna have to probably close 1, maybe 2. If we pass it, we can keep those and build a new one in the west. I mean, we have to be specific. I mean, I would have a picture of what the library looks like, everything, because all these nebulas just give us that these fire districts just give us more money to pay our firemen $125,000 a year. I mean, they're
Absolutely.
not saying that, but that's what it is.
Well, I think that's the great thing about our situation is that we don't have to manufacture a reason. We have a reason. We don't have to make something
Yeah,
up.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, people, you fought, you made it well aware that we didn't want your libraries closed. We heard you, we made austere cuts to make that happen. But now it's your turn to have us.
Better get Starlink in there.
Right, and in keeping with that, we can hype accomplishments like the savings achieved in our printing costs. I mean, where are you gonna find savings like that, saving $100,000 in one element of a budget? Tout things like that we're doing our part. We're not being reckless spenders, to the contrary. We're
And-
being very efficient with every buck we get.
Yeah, and of the board members that were there Tuesday night at the volunteer appreciation dinner, I mean, we have a large network of folks that are very passionate about the libraries, that will talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends about the importance of the library, so.
Wouldn't, if we just reauthorized what our tax revenue should be.
Right.
At what, 26 cents?
Mhm.
And reauthorize that, I think we'd be healthy, right?
Right.
That's exactly right.
Yep,
We're not asking for anything more.
and what we were legally
What we,
obligated.
what was voted yes in 1994,
Right.
I mean,
Last
30
time.
plus years ago.
It's insane.
And I think that plays out well too, is that we have not gone back to the voters for
Yes, buddy.
Can we just blame it on Joe City? Hancock.
Right, right.
We have to get rid of that. We have to name it something else.
All right, we have 12 minutes before the start of our regular meeting. Is there thought process that we could handle closed session in 12 minutes? Or no? $11 minutes?
Probably.
11 and a half.
I'm trying to think of exactly.
I agree. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to state statute RSMO 610.021, section 2, real estate, section 3 personnel, and section 13 personnel. So moved. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We will do a roll call vote.
David Zucker,
Aye.
Buddy Hardens,
Aye.
Peter Gartner,
Aye.
Cindy Giordano. Aye. Justin Collier.
Aye.
Matthew Seeds.
Aye.
Penny Henke. Aye. Dan Manternack.
Aye.
Keith Hazelwood.
Aye.
Clock's ticking.
Sure. Julie, you want to stop?
You want to stay? Do you need me to mute this?
Yes. Do you want me to close out this session? Hey, Matthew,
Yeah.
you want me to just close him out, or if he talks over these
It's
intercom?
gotta be on a phone, right?
Yeah, because it'll come complete out. Do you want me to end this or just leave it muted? I'll mute it out in the back too, but I mean, his call right here, but.
So Buddy essentially can't talk.
Well, you'll need to, I think you wanna call him. That might be a win though.
Yeah, okay, Buddy's good with it, Buddy's good with it, we'll just keep it on mute.
Okay,
Alright, cool. Well, let me ask this though, we're streaming the meeting,
I'm gonna go unplug that in the back,
got it,
so
alright.
mute that.
Oh, so Buddy can't hear us, and got it, alright.
Correct.
Yep, alright.
they ape shit on me because of.
Put you to work.
History, so.
My mother drinks that.
All right, folks, we'll go ahead and get started with the regular meeting. We will start with public comment. There are no public comment cards, so we will move on to the next item. Reports and correspondence. First, the Chief Financial Officer's report.
All right, so the month of March, we're over 100% as far as the revenues. Our expenses are looking really good. Just keep an eye on healthcare and our electricity expenses. We have a number of capital projects that are starting up, so we'll see those in the next couple of months. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer for you.
Any report on MK?
I can, no, you're welcome to.
You want me to? MK, Jill and I both were out there this morning. And Dave has a better explanation. So I mean, we have, MK was built in sections as time went on. The original building was pre-1994, somewhere in that time frame. The last edition, or one of the last editions, was around 2004, 10 years later. At least the community room and the children's room. The original fire suppression system, if you went into it, here was the original building, here was what was a parking lot. The main line came into that building into a mechanical closet right here. When they built the addition on, they built it over top of that fire suppression main, inside of the footing. They did not relocate the mechanical room. They did not turn the Evo, take it outside of the building and run it down the sidewalk. They did not move the mechanical room to this corner point building so you have a clear demarc. They left all that in place.
What year?
2004.
2004.
Who was the CEO then?
Jim Brown, probably? No, was that Carl?
It was
That would've been Carl.
Yeah, it's Carl.
That was Carl. Carl was 2000 until 10 or 11. So that was Carl at the time.
All right, not
The
Jason.
break occurred right where this bin goes up through a concrete crush block, so it's encased in concrete, up through the floor of the building and then ties into the overhead suppression system. The cast iron pipe just had a hole in it about the size of a cap, it looks like, plus other pieces of the pipe started to fray out. The water basically happened right before 8 o'clock. 7:50, 8:02, somewhere in that time frame. Staff got there at 8:30, quickly notified the branch manager of my facilities, and they recognized, okay, let's shut the water off. They turned the water off, the leak was still proceeding water into the building because fire suppression was on a different line than main lines are in the building. Turned that line off pretty quickly, but it was still about 11 o'clock. So we know we had water flowing through that suppression system for, 8 o'clock to 11, almost 3 hours. Filled the building up, basically 70% of the building within 2 to 3 inches of water throughout the branch. 70% of the building had that much water sitting within it. Luckily, our team quickly called out a restoration contractor to start getting the water out of the building. And they sucked and they pulled water out for a long period of time, and that really helped minimize the amount of damage. They started taking the coat base off, pumping air into the walls, make sure that there would be no mold. And the building has been drying out ever since and continues to dry out. The pipe, they were able to reconnect it, but because of its location, they initially thought, let's dig outside the building right here to find where it was at. They could not find the pipe. They got below the footing, was able to pump the water and muck out, locate it, and realized it was going that way, had it then kind of go underneath the building, eventually cutting a hole into the floor and exposing the pipe and making the repairs. The system has been tested. After they put the pipe in, it did hold pressure. They will pour the footing maybe tomorrow. And then after that cures, will allow us to repressurize the line for good. It's likely we will be closed because where we took off the co-base, got holes in the drywall, all of that's gotta be repaired. The outlets in the floors and electric, all of that has, at least the outlets have been replaced and are taken care of.
We were lucky to have an engineered floor, not carpet,
Yeah.
so we didn't have to replace all of that carpeting, which would have been incredible.
Yeah, and we were able to save the carpeting. Shelving, they were able to get on blocks onto foam. There will probably always be some minor damage to some of our end panels because that particle board, when it gets in contact with water, you know, even if it bulges a slight bit, it's noticeable. Is it enough that we would replace it? Probably not. So we will get the building back into shape, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. We have not announced a public date yet, because we're still working through the details. We are, our facility team and Julie leading that team, done a fabulous job of ensuring that we had our, you know, plumbers, electricians, drywallers, painters, all online, moving forward quickly to get this, you know, minimize our impact to our customers. But even with that, we're probably at least a week to, I'd say on the outside, a week and a half to 2 of getting the building where we can open it to the public again.
They have to do drywall, painting, code base. They also have to replace the floor in the employee break room. And do some other things, so it takes a while to do those things and have them cure.
But, I mean, one, excellent communication with us, providing us information all throughout the process. I mean, very appreciative of that. 2, awesome job by staff. I mean, staff at the branch, everybody involved, like to be on it that fast and to make those modifications to, you know, save, limit the amount of damage was awesome. So thank you to the staff, the branch, thank you to leadership, thank you to everybody who's involved in this. And I mean, to say that repair has been completed on the pipe, outlets, I mean, we drove by the other day, and I saw the, you know, electrical contractors there. I was like, oh, they're doing electrical work. So, I mean, to be where you're at right now, after that, you know, happened, I think it's a great job overall by everybody. So thank you for that.
Appreciate that, and it's the immediate response, our team was
They were great.
there around the clock. And it was, they had tremendous effort and putting together a quality team to put the building back together. Yeah, I agree, our folks did a tremendous job.
My question is, has there been an actual damage assessment? And how much of that will be covered by our insurance?
So we met with the insurance agent today and they're doing the damage assessment.
Okay.
There is some concern that how much will be covered by insurance is still questionable because the break was under the concrete floor of the building. And whether that was, if it was in the ceiling of the building, it's within the building envelope. This is, they're looking at this is because water didn't leak from the pipe into our building. It leaked into the ground and then came up through the cracks in the floor, came up through our floor outlet boxes. So they are looking at this as if this was groundwater coming into the building. And that's not covered by our policy.
Yeah.
And the insurance company is which?
So
It's EMC, so.
EMC,
EMC. So what we experienced is under a supplemental coverage, but since we did not know that this was the pipe situation with the addition to the building, in essence, we didn't know that that supplemental coverage would be needed for this one-off, which.
so this will, we will continue to see what they come back with. We will place our arguments that it is covered, or at least a good portion of it is covered. But there's a potential that none of it won't be covered, or a very minimal amount of it would be covered. We will have to look, you know, are there other locations within, and we still have this pipe underneath the building that we will need to add a rider onto our insurance policy to cover that, at least figure out the cost. And then at some point, we'll have to evaluate, is the cost of that rider cheaper than relocating the situation over time. And so as we evaluate and we get more information, we'll come back to the board with a recommendation of, do we just continue to insure? Or do we actually then put a capital project into the budget at some point to rectify And how do we identify that we didn't do the exact same thing as, say, Corporate Parkway, where we have another building that was added onto over time?
So it's a cast iron pipe feeding the
Yeah.
fire suppression system. And there was erosion, chemical dissolving of the pipe. Led to
Somewhere there was a
hole.
hole in the pipe, it's brittle, and you can, today was the first time I actually saw the piece of the pipe that had the hole in it. But yeah, the actual cause, was it rust? Was it
Yeah.
interaction with the concrete? I don't know if we have that answer.
Yeah, we don't have it.
Well,
It's interesting.
there's a foreseeable peril elsewhere along the pipe.
We were, until they pressurized the pipe yesterday, didn't know if that was the only leak or not.
So I'm going to talk with my facilities manager about the technology that they use, for underground pipes to find out the vulnerabilities and how we can use that.
Does the city of O'Fallon have the water lateral insurance program, and also are we eligible to even join that as a corporation? I don't know, I can't remember what municipality I know the city of St. Charles has it. I don't remember what,
I thought O'Fallon had it, but that's a sewer lateral, which is not,
but they also added the water.
did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, so,
I can check into that. I don't recall them applying to institutional properties.
I kind of thought that
Thought it
too,
was
but
residential only, but
I agree, but might as well look at it.
yeah, it's
It would be on the bill, wouldn't it? Isn't it itemized as insurance
Yes.
Yes.
on the water bill? They did, cause mine broke in my house, and the city of St. Charles gave me like $3,000 to fix it.
Supposed to be reimbursed.
So what's
the whole
happening
amount.
with the staff?
Staff have been relocated to work in other branches. And so we are utilizing those staff in various locations throughout the district. We are also contacted, we have rooms in there that have very popular for people having different events in, so we are working with trying to get those rebooked into other rooms within the district, but some of them are being canceled, unfortunately. We need to cancel events, but we're trying the best to be able to accommodate them elsewhere where we can. Yeah, the materials and all of those things, that none of that was damaged. I mean, it was, so all of those type things, the carpet we were able to save, computers and all that. I mean, there was some concern about overheating. We'll know more because as you have more heat and temperature in the building, some of those PCs and servers were still on. So I think we got everything turned off early enough and we avoided any damage there. But we'll know more as we continue to power up systems and once the branch is fully opened.
Thanks, Julie, for that report. Is there anything else for financial report? All right, we'll move on to the executive team report.
So we talked about Pop RT earlier in the work session, but this brief report at the top of the report talks about what kind of marketing was done to help talk about and educate the community about the impact on the library of Prop RT has been successful. And through social media campaign, and you can see that John talked, we had a webpage, we had FAQs dedicated to talk about library funding, flyers and branches, and several public speaking engagements. But also through social media, we were able to increase our followers by 237, and we garnered more than 76,000 views and almost 12,000 clicks to learn more and 500 shares, which is pretty good for us. So we definitely did our part to help educate. And switching gears completely from Prop RT, the next thing is to talk about a baby rave that we mentioned briefly. I think at last month's telling that it was coming up, but we held one of the baby raves was at the Corporate Parkway branch, and my understanding is a room was completely packed and they all had fun with black lights and bubbles, so we're getting them ready for high school and college. So it was one of two. And then another program was Ballet 314 partnered with us, and they presented the Assemblée, an interactive educational children's ballet focusing on literacy and music. It's free, it's in-person performance, and they had a pre-show activity. And the performance demonstrates how dance and music tell a story, featuring musical selections from Sleeping Beauty, Swan Lake, Opella. Ballet 314 is a nonprofit professional company focused on community, local talent, and connecting arts with literacy. So really strong partnership there. And then one of our author events, and when I say one, I mean a big one, we're lucky enough to get author Eric Larson here. More than 200 people showed up at Spencer Road. He talked about his latest novel, The Demon of Unrest, and it talks a little bit about what that book is about, but it talked about how the information that he had pulled together from diaries, secret communiques, slave ledgers, and plantation records helped to tell a story that captures the forces that led America to the brink of the Civil War. So nice tie-in to everything that we're doing with America 250. And we were able to partner with Main Street Books and Library Foundation to host that author event. And while we're on America 250, we invited library patrons to vote on a lineup of classic American films for a community screening as part of our Democracy in Lights Camera Action series. Our first vote featured a musical theme with 145 patrons casting their votes on social media. And the contenders were Yankee Doodle Dandy, On the Town, Singing in the Rain, and 1776. And I am really happy to say that my favorite one, Singing in the Rain. So we're continuing to do more activities with America at 250. And then switching gears again, Rika, which we talked about a lot. One-on-ones are now being offered with the aid of Senator Hawley's office. And community members with questions about applying for federal compensation can come speak directly with the experts and have their questions answered on May 17th, 14th, and 21st at the Catherine Linneman branch, Spencer Road branch, and Middendorf Cordell branch. You can still learn more on the original report that was sent to you. There's some links that you can click on to learn some more information. And next, our upcoming events. Tomorrow, the library is closed for Staff Development Day, and it's a full day. We're really excited. We have a guest speaker who's coming in as a keynote, and we have heard him before at an MLA conference, and he is a very funny guy. And we're excited to hear from him. And also coming up on April 27th, Rebellion Handbell Ensemble, and then April 28th, Fraud, Scams, and Managing Money. And then really big, we'd love for everybody to show up for this, May 15th and 16th. Friends of the Library is gonna host a mini book fair at the St. Charles Community College Gymnasium. So having a mini one to get you excited for the big one that's coming up in August. And then media, the Post-Dispatch had an article about the board meeting coverage. We had media coverage on Spectrum News and STLPR on Prop RT, and then Boone County Connection had an article about For the Love of Reading. And then last but not least, we have a mission impact statement from a program participant that says, "Let's Read has been so important to my daughter. She reads every book and looks forward to going to each meeting. She's been introduced to so many authors and books she never would have read otherwise. Her elementary school reading program focuses almost exclusively on excerpts, and Let's Read fills an important gap in her life as a reader," which is, we love to hear stories like that, how the library is filling the gap. So that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
I have a question for you, because these events that you went through, each one of these events seems to me to be something to crow about. And did we get any media coverage, for example, from the Mid Rivers Magazine on any of these?
And I will let LP share.
No, we share press releases, we share our event calendar routinely with them, and if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't bleed.
Well, I just wanted to make sure we were issuing press releases and trying.
We are, for sure.
Great pronunciation with Ballet 314.
Assemble.
Assemble.
You're welcome.
That's very good.
I know words.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Was there something you were gonna add there?
Oh, actually, I was just gonna say, under LB and Brianna's direction, our social media person is amazing and puts everything out on social media, and we get a lot of people interested in the programs that way.
Great.
So that's the cool way now, social media, so.
Thank you. Move on to the statistical report.
So building off of programs and the impact that social media has. On the second page, you'll see that our programming, we were at 86% of our goal, and for our program attendance, 90%. But I wanna, we didn't highlight, and sometimes as much as the column right below that, so LYTD, so last year to date, basically, total to date. So if you look at programs held last year at this time, we were at that 3,021. Our team has done over 4,313.
Wow.
So that's, you see percentage wise, but when you see the actual number of additional programs, it's pretty impressive. And the same thing if you think, when you look at the number of people attending last year at this time was 56,951. We've had 90,714. So yes, we've held more programs and really kind of focused on that with our teams, and it's taken a lot of our folks adjusting to how do we create additional programs. But that is resulting in that we're having more people attend, and that's a big difference. It's 34,000 more people attending our programs.
Is there a way for us to identify the amount of unique individuals? I think there's a lot of probably repeats, right? People going to a lot of different programs. Is there a way for us to identify that, if it's unique visitors?
I mean, theoretically in spots, we could go through registration. We don't do registration for everything.
Got it.
And so it wouldn't be great stats. And would be a pretty clunky process. I don't know. We don't do registration for our early literacy stuff. We purposely stopped doing that because parents with children, we viewed that as a barrier rather than helpful.
So in those scenarios, you just you count the people in the room.
Yeah.
And just grab that number?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I helped out with one of our programs, it literally was, that was my
yeah,
job.
we
I was there,
yeah.
hitting the clicker, reported it to the person, they recorded it into the,
We went to
every market.
Yep.
We went to an event where it was, we walked in.
Same thing when you look at social media followers, 25,000, that was last year at this time, we're at 31. So when you really start, we're now far enough in the year, we're about 75% in the year. The numbers really start to look, you see that difference is adding up. And pretty much every one of these things, including gate count, and we're at 840,000 last year at this time, we're at 915,000. That have come into our branches. Programming is part of it, but part of that is part of using our community rooms and our spaces and gathering and all of that good stuff. The only metrics that we are lagging in is circulation. You look at year-to-date total checkouts, we're at 4.4 million. We're essentially, slightly less than that, 4,386,000. We see slight reduction in digital, that's more controlled, their own per group trying to manage the cost of digital, so that is something that I think really reports to the success of their looking at how long we look at our holds and allocation of dollars, being able to control that, because if we threw more money at it, that would grow. So managing that is a testament to her work there. Physical is what it is, people come in and check out materials, it is declining, it's about 60,000 less than what it was last year at this time. So that's something that I think as we look into the future of next year, we'll continue to focus on how do we improve circulation. And that one of the things that we have control of that would impact circulation will be part of our work and our goal going into fiscal year 27. So that is the fiscal report. Any questions?
Well, being libraries under repair, it affects that as well.
It will.
Yeah.
Seeing no other comments, we'll move on to correspondence. We have a couple of response letters that we had sent out to the different municipalities. I would like to have this on next month's agenda to discuss our policy on, we send a letter every single time. And there are some scenarios where we get a pilot per se, like, you know, it's a little bit different scenario than us not getting anything, right? And we've heard some feedback from the municipalities saying, hey, we would really appreciate if like you kind of worked with us and not just sent these letters out every time. There's kind of been some pushback from some city councils on our receiving our letter. So I'd like to kind of work through that policy that we have. Maybe it doesn't make sense to send it every time. Maybe it makes sense to maybe recalibrate when we do send those letters, when those you know, issues are kind of well, like one example is if you're starting to do tax increment financing on a residential construction, like that I think is an outlier that we need to be discussing that, and there needs to be a letter written on that scenario. When we're receiving a pilot, do we need to send a letter saying thanks, but also wish you didn't do that and we got everything, you know? So I mean, I think there's just ways that I needed to know, I think administration probably needs to know, how do we wanna handle these in the future? And maybe that's the time is right now to kind of go over that process.
It's not gonna change their minds.
It's almost changed their minds in one scenario, or maybe two scenarios. The Fifth Street project, Fifth Street and First Capital, and then 364 and Arena Parkway. Those two properties were contested by the councils, and so there was definitely some momentum there. But I think it's appropriate that we probably look at that, just so that we're in a situation where we wanna play nice with our municipal friends. And not create barriers between us and them, so just something that we'll probably add to next month's agenda, so you're all aware.
Work session agenda.
Yeah, we can, but I'd also like to have it on the regular, in case we wanna make a modification to the policy,
Sure.
and we have that ability as well. There may be a recommendation that's submitted or at that meeting, we'll see. Anything else related to those communications?
Just a question, has there been any precedent for the company that is trying to win the tax abatement to make it more financially attractive to them, could offer to become a library sponsor to compensate us for the loss in revenue? Because we're only talking about a fraction of what they gain from the tax abatement. Is there any precedent for approaching the developer and saying, look, we have a problem with this, but our problem would go away if you could become a library sponsor to this amount?
I think we probably talked about this sometime last year.
Okay.
When the developer came to the city of Dardenne Prairie with Prairie Encore, commercial development at the intersection of Bryan and Feisey, and asked for TIFs. The Winsville School District superintendent and I think head of the Board of Education came and spoke in a very pointed way about the loss of revenue. Now, understand that the ground in question was had been agricultural. So 17 acres, they're getting no revenue off of that. But the anticipation of not getting revenue off of the four-story apartment building and the other commercial outlets was too much to bear. Well, they caught the eye of a member of the Board of Aldermen. And he worked with them and mediated a sit-down between the school district and the developer. And they modified their deal in a way that the Wentzville School District was willing to forego litigation or the threat of.
So they helped keep the school district whole.
Well, I don't know that they were whole,
But
but they were less imposed upon.
Right.
In their mind.
Okay.
By, I assume it was a pilot.
Yeah.
I was not privy to the.
The issue that we have, that I've noticed, and these have been coming up more frequently recently, it seems like, right? It's like every meeting there's some kind of correspondence for some development that's going on. It's almost like we're advised of it really late in the game. And I 100% agree with you. If we sat down, behind closed doors with these individuals before it was presented to the city, saying, what can you do for the library district? We, like, of all the places, this really impacts us. And we might see a different outcome. But we get a letter that says, show up tomorrow night and
Yeah.
speak, or in a week and speak. And it's like, we need to figure out, one, and we're kind of like the Titanic here, right? Like, we can't turn quickly. So we'd have to meet to say, okay, what is the position of the board? What would be acceptable? And then we would have to then in turn go and meet with those individuals to make sure that is presented. So I agree with you. I would love to be brought in earlier on. And I think the mayors have said this, we're such a small player in the overall number that they're concerned about the school district and other players that have a much larger piece of that pie. And it's like, oh, the library, you guys don't want your $7,000 or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, okay. So that's part of the problem as well, but yeah, go ahead.
The issue that you raise, untimely notice of what's happening. We may be able to be more proactive by monitoring the planning and zoning agendas, which will be weeks ahead of action by the city councils or board of aldermen. So,
But are they bringing forward any type of tax financing at planning and zoning? I don't know that we would know that they're engaged in that. We would know if it was like a big development.
yeah, I think that's the tip, is that there is a
Yeah.
big development going
Yeah.
in, so there's gonna be an
Yeah.
application for TIF.
Right, okay.
So let's get in on the ground floor if possible.
Especially if zoning has to be changed from one zone to a different kind of zone.
Right.
Then there has to be public notice.
Right. And that's kind of how it was for one of these at the city of St. Charles, or maybe for both of them. They were doing the public hearing for the rezoning at the same time that they were introducing the application for tax increment financing, so.
My thinking, Matthew, is that would be the gist of an appropriate response to the feedback you got, is why do you guys seem so anti-growth, and why, we're tired of your whining and complaining. Just say, well, we wouldn't have to whine and complain if we get advance notice of what's coming.
Right, yeah, fair point. And I think that they would argue the same thing, that we are providing the letter at the 11th hour to them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these letters have gone out like hours before their meeting,
Yeah,
and their council members like, whoa, wait.
because we got the letter the night
Right.
before.
Right, so it's a work in progress. We will be,
Okay.
we'll be looking at that, and yeah, I'm open to ideas. So. Any other comments on that? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda, minutes for approval, the draft minutes from March 19th, closed and regular meeting. Modifications. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 19th, 2026 meeting.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it, the motion is approved. Next on the agenda is the formal agenda. Unfinished business, we have item 26-27, authorization to engage firm for snow ice removal and ice melt services. This was held over from the previous meeting. We got some additional supplemental information from staff. I think I asked if that was sufficient from the folks, and I think we got a favorable response. Is there any further discussion on this item?
And I did wanna emphasize that, the response from Arrowhead, we have experience with Arrowhead. They provided service to us before, so as far as reliability and having knowledge of that, in addition to the pricing, has been very positive. And also, what I had written about special attention given to working with a single vendor as far as communications. So I think that's the most challenging thing for all organizations when there's ice and snow incidents, making sure all of their locations are taken care of and communication is strong.
You're right here, bud.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this item? I'll entertain a motion to approve 26-27.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, appear to have it, the ayes do have it, motion is approved. New business, we have item 26-28, authorization to engage firm for fiscal year 26 through fiscal year 28 audit services.
So we identified a number of firms that work on governmental entities as far as independent auditing. And we put out the request for proposals, and we only received one response, and that was from UHY, formerly Bott Steele, who is our current auditor.
Okay.
I did include the pricing that they proposed for the 3 years, so the per year increases are reasonable. We've reviewed them. They do have, well, now that they've become one, they do have a national government practice group, which is a huge resource. So we are proposing or asking that you authorize us to engage for audit services through 28 with UHY.
Julie, is there any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to authorize engaging UHY LLP to perform audit services for the library district and library foundation for fiscal years 2026, 2027, and 2028.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it, motion passes. Next item is 26-29, authorization to renew T-Mobile for higher education libraries agreement for hotspots. All right. Any questions of Carol on this item?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what, is this so that people can use their own cell phones in the library? Is that the idea or what?
The idea is that they can rent, or not rent, what is it, lend, what's, check out, thank you, sorry, check out. Borrow, there we go, any word you wanna use that references that, borrow a hotspot so that they're able to have internet connectivity from the house. And maybe they may not have internet at home, so they are able to check these out, and then that provides them internet access to their devices.
For how long?
How long is it?
So we run two different programs. One program uses our standard 2-week checkout, so that's more of a temporary, people use that maybe when they're traveling, they've recently moved, they have a service interruption at home. It's not, having to bring it back every 2 weeks is not really conducive to, having that be your full-time internet. But the hotspot, yeah. And then the second program that the library runs is a longer program that's administered through our outreach services department and is more showing a need based on doing education, or when we started the program also was for virtual health as well. It was started during 2020. And so those hotspots are borrowed for a period of 16 weeks.
And we
And it's a
get,
more semi-permanent.
How many do we have?
Right now, we have about 250. It does vary. I mean, things get broken, things, have to be shut down when they don't get returned, so on and so forth, but
Now, if they don't get returned, do we shut them off?
yes. So they have a short period of grace and then we're able to brick them and they no longer provide internet. If the customer brings it back, we turn the internet back on and it goes to the next one and so on.
Do we have to buy them or is T-Mobile?
So we are eligible for free devices essentially by extending the agreement. So we have been using the same devices for 6 or 7 years, so they are pretty worn out.
Slow.
no, they're 5G.
No, the new ones will be 5G.
Oh, the current ones.
The current fleet is a mix of
Yes, yeah, we're giving.
T9s and a few 5Gs, but we're moving to a different 5G product that's more robust.
Okay. We get a reimbursement from the state, correct, for E-rate on these or something like that, is that correct?
There's no E-rate program for mobile hotspots. That was talked about for a while for libraries and then it never really came to pass. And
Interesting.
there's,
Do they do it for schools? Alright,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't, okay, interesting, okay.
so the library does cover through our regular budget that you just saw from Zach, the monthly data plans for all 250 devices.
So this is going to 365 devices.
For the same price, yes.
Okay,
So the monthly data plan cost per device goes down, but we're getting more devices, so the cost is the same.
do we ever get close to the ceiling on those numbers? Because we have 50 people in the long-term program, or we have 50 devices associated with the long-term program. Do we ever get close to 250 being fully utilized?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes, all the time.
Oh, okay.
It's very rare that you can just walk in the branch and get one. We do have some that are not holdable, but it does take a little bit of library hold management to make sure you have one when you need it, like if you're planning for a trip, for example. The concern right now is there is a very long wait for the long-term program because you're only getting a few returned every month because they're such lengthy loan periods. And so with this new renewal, we would be able to double the amount of long-term ones we have. And then I think that would have a positive impact on the short-term ones because people are trying to use the short-term ones when they really need a long-term one.
Is there a qualification
That's why I
for
was
the
gonna
long,
ask
for the
you.
long term?
There is a short form that people have to fill out, but they are not asked about income requirements at this time. It's more asked why do you need it? And like I said, it's based upon an educational need. I'm a student or I have a student in my household, so.
John already signed it.
Thank you, Carol.
So if we get 3 years, we get 1 year free basically?
Well, we're getting,
87,000 a year, if we get 3 years, it's 267 total, 262, so is that that's
1 year free then?
I think we more looked at it as a drop in cost per line.
Right, yes, right, because we're getting more devices.
Right.
So, yeah, okay.
Like we will have a invoice every month for 3 years.
Which is the
Third year won't be
same
free.
as what our current invoice is.
After credits apply. Couldn't make it easy, that's as easy as I could make it.
Alright, any further discussion on this item? Go ahead, Keith.
Mr. Chairman, I have a visceral concern about this.
Okay.
I think if we told the other 413,000 St. Charles County residents that we have a program that can take care of 365 people who need free service like this. I'm assuming we're not charging the user anything.
Right, just like any other item at once, as long as you have a valid library card, you can check it out.
I would say though, like, if you're planning to substitute your home internet with a hotspot, you're not gonna be happy. Just because range, I mean, you have to have the hotspot relatively close to the device that you're gonna be connecting to. I mean, there's a lot of limitations that I don't know an individual is going to grab one of these and then just not have internet service at their house because this will supply that. If that's a concern.
Well, it is sort of a concern. I mean, it just seems to me we ought to either expand this program to take care of the need.
Right.
Or shouldn't be offering it at all. You know, to me, there's just this, I know there's a dollar figure associated with it.
Right.
We're being called upon to pay that dollar figure. And these 365 users are getting themselves quite a good deal.
Sure.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the other 413,000 St. Charles County residents, some of them are gonna say, why the hell am I sending in a payment every month for internet when I can take care of my internet needs by going to the library?
Yeah, and that would be where my argument would kick in for that piece of it. I think the big thing is, you know, since COVID and every public school providing the students with a Chromebook,
Good point.
you know, that the need for internet connectivity has grown among the student population. Now I know schools also do the same thing. The schools have a grouping of hotspots as well.
And that to some extent makes me feel a little better. If John Greifsey started getting these phone calls from people who are not part of the 365 that have the device for the next 2 weeks.
Right.
He's getting phone calls from people who say, I don't get this until 3 months after I ask for it.
Right.
He can say, all of these public entities, school districts, library districts are trying to accommodate the need. And maybe that softens my reaction to this, but.
I think the library is all about access, right? And so, you know, we were able for a short period of time to provide more devices when there was a federally funded program. But when that federal funding ended, you know, that was a disappointment to a lot of the citizens of the county. And so, since we don't have the opportunity to do something bigger and longer anymore, this is, from our experience, is at least helping that need either very short term for 2 weeks or 16 weeks, which when we originally picked that, it was about the time length of a semester, since it was tied to school as well. And then of course, you know, anyone is welcome in any of our our public buildings where we have Wi-Fi, where we have computers. So we are really trying to address those concerns about that gap.
You know, I don't know, I guess I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I can tell you, I'm not sure that it sits well to say we need 10 cents more on our real property taxes to pay for various expenses. But by the way, we're over here spending $262,800 on a program to give people free hotspots. So anyhow, I lay that on the table for whatever.
We appreciate those comments.
Yeah.
Thank you, Keith. Trustee Zucker.
Yeah, the question is, how many discrete individuals participate in the program? I share Keith's concern about if we're spending this kind of money to service 300 people, but aren't we actually servicing more than 300 people?
Yes, definitely. I can't tell you again how many like unique users. We don't necessarily track something like that for privacy purposes, but it is anyone with a library card is eligible for the 2-week checkout. So 140,000 active cardholders could be using the 2-week checkouts ones. If the hold list gets that long, I'm in trouble, but they could. They're all able to do so.
Well, if there is some way to get a notion, I don't wanna know who they are.
Right.
I just wanna know how many discrete individuals are participants. And that, if the number is 400 as opposed to 300, that's not good news. If it's 1,200 or 2,000 or 3,000 different people, well, that sounds better. So if there's a way to capture that data, that would be helpful.
Like in a year, people.
Hold on.
I can understand you giving this service for like some kid that
Yeah.
is of low income and his family, but anyone coming in without any, I'm gonna go on vacation to Italy in a couple weeks, I'm gonna come by and get one of these things. It just, there's something wrong with that part of it. And I understand we serve everybody and stuff, but it's $87,000 a year, right?
No,
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
That's a lot of money for the district. Now, I understand though that the contract's already been signed.
That is actually a conditional signature,
Okay,
pending board approval.
good, okay. So I think we may wanna take a look at the program itself to see who's getting it. Like, I understand you too. If it's the same people using it over and over and over again, that may be a problem. But then maybe it is the signal that they're the ones that need it the most, as opposed to, 2,500 or 3,000 people. I don't know. It's just something that I think I need to think about a little bit more. I move that we table this.
Motion's been made to table. Is there a second?
second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Trustee Harden first.
motion to table is a privileged motion and not debate.
I withdraw the motion because there were more things, more,
I'm not Dr. Jermaine, I'm just trying to learn more about it,
that's what I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
because everybody in this library, we don't ask somebody if they make $1 million a year and they wanna check out a book instead of paying $60 for a hardback, we don't stop them from doing it. So, if we start drawing the line, I agree money-wise, but where do you stop? We're the library only for the low-income people, or only for the middle income, or maybe we could also, I'm still trying to figure out is, if these people don't have cell phones. If you got a cell phone, you got a hotspot, right? I said,
Not necessarily.
No.
well, maybe we should maybe we should do some education on that along with it. Hey, do you have a cell phone? Let's look and see if you have a hotspot already built in it. Cause I mean, I use my iPad and I'm at my office and I can search, I can do everything on my iPad linked to my phone.
Right.
Or I can take my T-Mobile box that's in my apartment and take it to my office too and get it.
Right.
I mean, you're not using these hotspots to watch 4K Netflix and your kids surfing and all that, but I mean, maybe there's something to do in between. Is like when we check them out, have a little pamphlet to say, hey, in the future, let's check to see if your phone has hotspot, and if it doesn't, maybe you can add it for $1 or $5 a month or something, and maybe educate them that way. I don't know. Or just use your name.
My only comment was, to further this discussion next time, could you please provide the long-term lease agreement, just so maybe we could see what that entails? I would be interested to know what that entails.
From T-Mobile?
No, the form that Carol
From the
mentioned.
from the outreach
Oh, yeah,
department.
the
Sure.
internal form.
Okay.
And I would say it would be, we would be more able to report the variety of unique users for the smaller program than the large program. We do not keep circulation history once something is returned, even as a barcode, it's scrubbed from the system. So once I return it, I can't tell you that I was the one who checked it out.
But we have total number of checkouts for
We have
mobile.
total number of checkouts for the record itself, but I couldn't say,
Right.
for example,
Yeah.
if those 10,000 checkouts were 10,000 people, 8,000 people, 5,000 people.
But that total number is still helpful, I think helpful,
Okay.
yes.
Are you allowed, if you have the 2-week and you bring it in, are you allowed to recheck it out? And if there's a hold, you're not allowed to?
So typically, that's just not possible because it goes to someone else. So I'm not saying that's never occurred, but
There's almost always a
It would be
Right.
impossible to use this as your only internet, is what I'm saying, on
100%.
on the big program.
It would be
Because
very, very, very difficult.
It might be a month
yes.
before you get it back.
Right, right.
I have a question. It's supposedly it's only for educational purposes. But is there any way for us to monitor how it's being used? So that we know they're not just streaming Netflix movies through the
I mean, we don't say it's just for educational purposes. We
It says so
say
right
the long-term one is you have to have an educational reason for it.
Okay.
Now, again, we can't monitor that, so.
No browsing history.
That's a very broad,
No,
a very
no.
broad definition of educational purposes then.
Right, right.
They don't have to have a kid, they can say it's for me.
Well, they could be a student too, adult
They don't have
could
to
be
show a student ID or anything like that.
No.
Self-educated. Alright, like I am on YouTube.
Trustee
Program
Hazelwood.
invented in Minnesota.
Have you ever had somebody come in and complain about how long it's taking before they can get their hands on one of these?
Somebody's shaking their head.
Yes, yes.
Do you recommend this?
I do. I really think our customers have come to rely on this. We've been running this program for almost 7 years. And so there's many different reasons why someone is experiencing maybe a temporary hardship that need internet, or like I said, it's okay with us if they are coming in to get it for their trip to Italy. If it works, they can use it internationally. We don't make promises, but that's okay with us. They're using the library, and that is what we're excited about.
This is a popular program, right? Like, I mean,
No real
there's a lot of popular positive.
You could use it on your trip.
The community.
Right,
Well,
and
maybe when
as
you're
the
new-
existing fleet has gotten older and we've had to take them out of circulation, it has made the wait be longer. That's why I said we have around 250, because we certainly don't have 250 at this moment checked out actively with internet, because they are breaking down and they need to be replaced.
Alright, I think discussion has been exhausted on this item, so do I have a motion? Or anything? I'll open it to any motion that's gonna be made.
So are we obligated to approve this because?
Only if we make a motion to it and vote on it. That's the two motions.
I'll make a motion to authorize the renewal of the contract with T-Mobile for 36 months.
We have a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
No.
Can we do a roll call vote on this?
It has to be requested by the board.
I think no.
The noes appear to have it. The noes do have it. The motion failed.
May I suggest that we bring this back next month? So rather than to declare this,
Can you make another motion for that?
We've just raised too many questions for me to comfortably vote yes.
Yeah, well, the question is, are we done with this or can we revisit it next month?
We can revisit anything, can't we?
And Carol thinks it's necessary, which means a lot to me.
Can you make another motion to make sure we?
I'd like to request roll call vote.
Would you? Okay.
Carol,
You ready?
do we have a month?
We may have more than a month, just because we'll have to figure out if, this renewal will be in the same format, so. I can't guarantee that, we'll have the exact
There's a
same,
date on
the exact same offer moving forward. We'll bring back something. Right.
Okay.
I mean, this is the first I've heard, wasn't familiar with this at all. It is a lot of money. But it means a lot to Carol. So, I just would like to.
Okay, there has been a request of the yeas and nays from.
Can I, at this point, interject a motion to table to next month?
This vote is
I mean, I just need more information.
Me too.
So just so I'm clear, the additional information is the copy of what the customer fills out for the long-term loan. So the application for the long-term loan for the 16-week program. The other information is total use of the program.
Yes.
I mean, I can
Total
pull
checkouts.
that
Total
for you
checkouts.
right now. I can tell you what they checked out like last year to date. Just give me about 30 seconds.
29.
And then, thing is you declared the yeas, you declared the no's lost. So
No,
you
the
have to
no's
accept his motion to go back on that and do the
He
roll call.
can't do, he can't reconsider the motion because we were on the circle. A person who was on the prevailing end would have to ask for a
A
reconsideration.
nay person could ask for reconsideration.
Not for the roll call.
And then, if it's up for reconsideration, a motion to table would be in order.
I think that would be accurate.
Are you locked in or?
So any naysayers wanna move for reconsideration?
I'll move for reconsideration.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second to reconsider the vote that was just placed. So a yes vote would be to reconsider the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. We're back on the main issue.
I move to table.
Yes.
We have a motion to table the item until next month.
Yes, to next month.
And I second.
We have a motion and a second to table. There's no yeas and nays on that, correct? Privilege motion, or is there just?
You call the vote and see what happens.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The the ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it, the motion is tabled until next month. Next item on the agenda is item 26-30, authorization to engage firm for parking lot maintenance at Boone's Trail Branch. And I have to leave, so I'm letting Justin finish out the meeting. We're so close.
Almost got there.
Almost got there. I apologize. John, I think you have, this is your item.
Julie.
Julie.
All right. So we issued a bid with regard to Boone Trails parking lot. Our facilities manager, DeQuincy Logan, has worked with Cox Consulting, and I'm going to, are you? Yes, there you go. Let's see, so Colin Cox is with us tonight. DeQuincy couldn't join us. So if you have any questions, it's like he's happy to assist with the specifics. He worked with her to develop these specs as well as Catherine Linneman's, which you have not seen yet. That will be next month. We had 4 respondents, and the low bid was E-Meyer for the $34,000 at $12. And we are asking that the Board of Trustees accepts that bid from E-Meyer for an amount not to exceed $34,012 for parking lot repairs at the Boone's Trail Branch.
Perfect, thank you, Julie. Any discussion, questions from the board on this agenda item?
I guess the only question I have is that the receivables for the $34,000 bid are the same as the receivables for the higher bids. So it's not shortchanging the specs in some way.
Yeah, it was a unit rate bid form.
Yeah.
The company that was there and
Okay, good.
put it that way. I did have a question for Cox. So the contract that associated with this, I mean, we have unit rates. This is a unit rate contract not to exceed.
Yes.
Okay, so it's based on the actual quantities installed, not a lump sum.
It is yeah, it'll be based on exactly what goes in there.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I did a lot of federal government contracting for 40 years. The high bid is more than double the winning bid. And when you see a discrepancy like that, you wonder if there's a bid mistake on the part of the board.
I reviewed it and there's not. They actually came in, the low bidder came in very close to what my budget numbers were.
Okay.
I presented to Quincy with the design, the budget numbers, and they came in right at where I thought they should be. I have experience with one of the other bidders
Okay.
and not the other one, and they tend to come in pretty high. Those are 2 that other bidder did. I'm comfortable with the numbers that came
Okay.
in.
All right, so you had a government estimate that gives you comfort that the low bidder is not missing something.
I did. And just to be clear, I designed the project. I said, here's all the things that need to be done. They bid on those items and those are the only items they can do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have we contracted with E-Meyer previously on any projects?
We have,
Library district?
but don't work for us. That's true.
Any other questions from the board on this agenda item? Seeing none, I will seek a motion to accept the bid of E-Meyer Contracting, Inc. for the amount not to exceed $34,012 for parking lot repairs at Boone's Trail Branch.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it. Next up on the agenda is item 2631, authorization to engage firm for audiovisual upgrades at McClay, Deer Run, and Kitsker Road branches. Julie.
All right, this is a project that is actually spearheaded by Zach. So any questions, he'll be able to answer the specifics of the evaluation process and what have you. So we issued 3 requests for proposals, and let's see, for Deer Run Branch, Kitsker, and McClay, And then we had, let's see, 3 separate vendors respond. The evaluation summary is included in your packet, as well as pricing and description of what was offered and the system that was chosen by the committee. And with that, we're requesting authorization for the CEO to engage Workplace Technology Solutions for all 3 branch audiovisual upgrades in the amount of $63,577.
Perfect, thank you, Julie. Jack, did you have anything else to add to that?
You wanna vote yes? Then I
Please
have nothing to
approve
add.
this motion.
Otherwise.
Now's your time to lobby.
Yeah, otherwise I would answer or describe anything that you'd like.
Sure.
I guess I would like to add, in the capital projects budget that was approved for FY '26, we had budgeted for 45,000 for each room, so we were able to come in well under budget for each of those rooms, so.
It's a very good point.
And Zach, you've worked with WTS in the past?
Yes, we have. We opened 3 bids to open up as much competition or be as equitable as possible, and yes, we have worked with WTS, so. And we're happy with that.
Any questions from the board, discussion on this item?
And we were really happy with the fact that they did come in as far as terrific pricing, because part of this project has to do with usability throughout our branches and staff mobility to be able to go in and, you know, if you're working at multiple branches, you're encountering the same technology at those branches. So audiovisual would be one of those things where you're able to use it depending, you know, regardless of where you're working. So that's the goal of our upgrades in our system.
So just to make sure I'm tracking the bouncing ball here. Our estimate of the total cost of the project was $135,000. And the winning bid is less than half of that.
Yes. Yes, that is correct. Well, that, it was not me, it was the staff and the bidders, but yes,
That's quite a margin.
Yes, we were concerned with what technology has been very sporadic in the past 2 years, the cost of technology, and then we were not sure exactly what our specific use case for each location was. Each manager and staff at those locations were very cognizant of our budget and deliver what they needed and didn't overbuild. So there's no need to go higher than.
We removed some of the vendor bells and whistles that they
Yes.
thought were overkill, but they really.
Yeah, and if you look, I'm sorry, Julie, if you look at the price comparison, there is a vast discrepancy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of automation and a lot of built-in that is not needed. And this also brings consistency. I know Julie mentioned consistency along these sites, but we've worked with Workplace Technologies and others, and there's consistency there too in the controls. So hopefully not only our staff who work at other locations, but the public, I think we've talked about how our public uses multiple locations. So it should be easier for them to be acquainted with the technology.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any further discussion from the board on this agenda item? Seeing none, I will seek approval for authorization for the CEO to engage Workplace Technology Solutions for audio-visual upgrades at the Deer Run Branch, Kisker Road Branch, and Maclay Road Branch locations for the Library District in the amount of $63,577 for fiscal year 2026.
So moved.
Second. Motion, and we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes appear to have it. The motion carries. With no other business in front of the board this evening, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so moved.
We have have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?